Have you started to notice that the list of things you can talk to strangers about is getting smaller and smaller? It seems like we disagree about everything in this country. And in Idaho, yeah, we disagree on a lot of stuff, but there are 11 things that every Idahoan agrees with. And it says a lot about the type of people that live here. So if Idaho is on that list of places you're considering moving to, I highly recommend you watch this list and see which ones you can agree with and which ones you can't. Hey, welcome to another episode of Living Life in North Idaho. If you just stumbled on this channel and you have no idea what it's about, well, we talk about what it's like living life in North Idaho, eating, working, playing, and buying real estate. So if that's not of interest to you, I would say you should probably go find a different channel. But if it is, definitely tap the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so every time I come out with a new video, you get notified. And if you have been watching this channel for a while and you are interested in what it's like moving here, but you need a little bit more help deciding if this is the right state for you, or you've decided, yes, it is, and I need someone to help me get there, that's why we're here. We get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people just like you that are watching the channel. So if this is you, reach out anytime at the phone number or email address listed below. Also, our website, if you don't want to have to talk to a human being yet, you can just go to the website and see what's available in our state. But do make sure when you do decide it's time to move here to reach out. We would love to help you get here. All right, so let's get into this video. Growing up, there were only 2 or 3 things you weren't supposed to talk about because it was considered rude. It was politics, religion, and no potty talk at the dinner table. But unfortunately, politics has gotten into everything. Everything's been politicized. And people have gotten so polarized that now, if you don't agree with them, it's not just a disagreement. You're now the enemy in some places, and it's gotten really hostile. So a lot of people are looking at Idaho going, you know what, I think I agree with those people more. Well, there's 11 things that I think really wrap up who we are as a people because the vast majority of Idahoans agree with this. Now, I did say in the beginning, every Idahoan. Obviously, I can't speak for everyone in this state, but I would say having been here 31 years, I have a pretty good idea of the things that we all agree on. So the first topic that almost every Idahoan can agree with, Idaho is awesome, but it's not perfect. There are definitely some areas that we need to improve on, like our local government and our state government. Sometimes it can be pretty opaque. They're not very transparent. It can be difficult to find the plans of the city development and growth. I've talked to some city officials. That's done on purpose because some people here really conservative. They get really fired up, but I still don't think that's right. The other area is our conservation and our cleanup. Now, we do a great job with conservation here in Idaho because we conserve it for the sportsmen. It doesn't make sense to conserve an area and not allow humans to use it. That's great that the animals are having a great time, but there's lots of nature out there. So our conservation does do pretty well, but our cleanup efforts for some of the disasters that have happened with mining and logging, they need to do better. A lot of it's been swept under the rug because they say, hey, we've got tourism coming in, our economy's doing fine, why do we need to deal with this? It's only gonna mess things up. But overall, it's gonna have to be dealt with because those disasters can become worse over time. So this is something I think that could be better, and I think most Idahoans agree. The second thing every Idahoan can agree with, it gets too cold here. You're not gonna hear us say that, and we're not gonna gripe about it in front of you, but man, I swear every Idahoan feels that way. And I've talked to them a little bit and they go, yeah, it's pretty cold. But the fact is, it helps keep out people who are a little bit weak, who can't handle it. And that's kind of nice. You know that the people who've been here a while, they've been through some stuff and you can rely on them. The third thing every real Idahoan can agree with, and I know those are fighting words, but America's a great country and it's worth fighting for. Really seems like there's a movement going on in our country that can only be described as anti-American sentiment. There's a lot of criticism of our country. There's a lot of call to change a lot of things, some of the things that are fundamental. And I agree, our country is not perfect and we need to be better. But some of the sentiment out there that America's not a good country, We do not feel that way here in Idaho. You're going to see a lot of American flags here. You're going to see a lot of veteran signs, a lot of police. We're in support of all that stuff because we do love our country. So if you're kind of on the fence about America, Idaho might not be the best place for you. The fourth thing every Idahoan can agree on, Californians are crazy.
Just get out of here! Get on the 405 until you can't take it anymore. Like to Ventura?
No, there is no exception to this rule. You are a crazy Californian until you leave California. And even then, the jury is still out. I'm just joking. Now, there's a lot of Californians that have moved here over the years. I mean, me and my family are transplants 31 years ago. Not all of us are crazy. There's some, though. You know, that's why you're wanting to move, because there's a lot of crazy people down there. But there's a lot of crazy people up here, too. Honestly, if you love this country, if you love this state, if you love nature and you want to keep this area as good as it is right now, you're going to fit in just fine. The fifth thing every Idahoan can agree on, nature is awesome and it's worth protecting. We love our nature around here. We have a lot of public land. And one thing that I love about Idahoans, we really respect the land. You will not see a ton of litter everywhere. You will not see people disrespecting it, because the moment somebody's caught doing that, they do have some pretty harsh punishments. I've seen areas where you can see somebody just completely letting their dog poop and walk away and nobody says anything. That's not Idaho. We love our nature up here and we work hard to protect it. The sixth thing every Idahoan agrees on, and this really does make this place awesome, local is better pretty much always. There's a lot of places that have just given up on the local economy. They allow the big box stores to come in and a lot of the small mom and pop shops go away. Well, here in Idaho, it's really awesome to see how the community pulls together when a new store opens. The Chamber of Commerce really helps push it out, and we really help places try to make it, especially during the winter when there's not a lot of tourism. We love supporting local, and if you want to be an Idahoan, you should too. The seventh thing every Idahoan can agree on, if you want a good neighbor, you have got to be a good neighbor.
Idly-ho, neighborino.
Hello! Kind of goes with that saying, be the change you want to see in the world. I have a lot of people who move here saying, you know what, my neighbors, they sucked. And I'll ask them, well, what were you doing? Were you engaging with them? You know, how were you being a good neighbor? And oftentimes they go, well, I didn't like them. I get it. Some people you can't be good neighbors to. But if you move up here, it's a really good thing to start with. Just get to know your neighbor. Deal with that awkwardness of having to meet in person. I know there should be an app, right? Like a Tinder for neighbors, like if you want to connect with them. I'm just kidding. But honestly, it goes a long way up here. If you act as a good neighbor, that speaks volume. I was just out around the lake on Lake Pend Oreille, and there's areas out there that you can't get to with a vehicle. You have to take a boat in the wintertime. And there's some elderly people out there, and you know what? They all know each other, and they all look out for each other. That is a survival situation sometimes out there for them. And even though we don't have that here in town, it's still important to practice. Look out for your neighbor. You want to keep this area awesome? Be awesome to your neighbors. The eighth topic every real Idahoan can agree with, the government will not save you.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
There's a lot of people in cities and all over the country that are going to wait for FEMA to come help them when things go wrong. But time and time again, we see that that does not go well.
It took FEMA 5 days to get water to the Superdome.
So up here in Idaho, you're going to meet a lot of preppers. You're going to meet a lot of people. I mean, even if they're not preppers, they're going to have meat in their freezer. They're going to have extra foodstuffs. And it's your responsibility to make sure you're doing that for you and your family, so that if there are people that weren't able to afford to do that, we can help look out for them. But every Idahoan, every real Idahoan knows the government is not here to save you. They're just here to, never mind, I won't say it. The ninth thing every Idahoan agrees with, you have the right to your own opinion. But that does not mean I have to share that opinion as well. And it doesn't mean if I don't agree with your opinion that I'm a bad person. I don't know how we got here in this country where all of a sudden on these pretty important topics, if you don't agree with them, all of a sudden you're a dirtbag, but you know it's happening. So up here in Idaho, we don't all think the same, but we do respect each other's opinions. Unless you think wearing 2 masks in your car while driving alone is a good idea. That's just the 10th thing every Idahoan can agree with: winter is way too long. We have a long winter here in Idaho. And what makes it worse is that we will get false spring and false summer. So it will go from dumping snow to all of a sudden 65 degrees. It's sunny. You're starting to pull your shorts out and you're starting to go get the boat ready and you're pulling the trampoline, getting it ready for the kids. And all of a sudden there's going to be 2 or 3 more snowstorms. So even though, yes, Idahoans are tough and we choose to live here, we all agree winter is way too long. And the last thing every Idahoan does agree with: guns are awesome. I know there's a lot of political pressure to make certain guns seem like they're a bad deal, but I promise you, every Idahoan here, every real Idahoan, they own at least one, probably a lot more. But yeah, we love our guns up here. Guns are awesome, and we really do believe what the forefathers said shall not be infringed. So that's it, guys. Those are the 11 things that every Idahoan can agree on. Again, I'm just speaking from my experience. Surely there's people that aren't going to agree with me, but the vast majority of people up here in Idaho, they absolutely agree with these. And which ones do you agree with? Let me know in the comments and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Make sure you tap the subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. And more importantly, if you are serious about getting moved here, you need a little bit more information, you're deciding it's time, let's get to Idaho, reach out with a phone call, text, or email. Day, nights, weekends, does not matter. If you're calling me at midnight, I will call you back the next day. I'm probably not going to answer. And if I do, I'm not going to make any sense. I'll just leave it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next one, I will see you later.